Have you ever wondered how a small group of people could build one of the largest empires the world has ever seen? It wasn't just about having the strongest warriors or the fastest horses. It was about having a mind that could see the entire world as a single chessboard, a mind that could plan moves years in advance, and a mind that belonged to a man you've likely never heard of. This man was not a king or an emperor, but a general. His name was Subotai. And it is said that in a lifetime of commanding armies and fighting over 30 major campaigns, he never once lost a single battle. How is that even possible? So, who exactly was this man, Subotai? He wasn't born into royalty or nobility. In fact, his beginnings were quite humble. He was the son of a blacksmith, a man who worked with iron and fire. Perhaps growing up around the forge taught him something about shaping hard materials, about patience, and about turning something raw into a tool of great strength. When he was just a teenager, he joined the rising leader who would soon be known as Genghis Khan. He didn't start as a general, of course. He started as a loyal companion, a doorkeeper for the Khan, a position of immense trust. This early role taught him to listen, to observe, and to understand the inner workings of power. From these humble beginnings, his talent began to shine like a finely polished sword. Genghis Khan saw something special in the young man, a sharp mind, a calm demeanor, and an unwavering loyalty. Subotai became one of the Khan's four hounds, his most trusted and capable generals. Think of them as the ultimate team of superheroes, each with a unique skill, but all working together for a single purpose. Subotai's superpower was his brain. He was the strategist, the planner, the one who could see the whole picture while others only saw the fight right in front of them. He was the quiet force, the silent thunder that you only heard after the lightning had already struck. One of Subotai's greatest secrets was his incredible dedication to planning. He never rushed into a fight. In fact, the battle was often the very last step in a long and careful process. Imagine you're playing a game of chess. You wouldn't just move your pieces randomly, would you? You'd think about what your opponent might do next, and the move after that. Subotai did this, but on a massive scale, with entire countries as his game board. Years before he would even think about invading a new land, like the kingdoms of Russia or Hungary, he would send out spies. These weren't just soldiers in disguise. They were map makers, merchants, and diplomats who gathered every piece of information imaginable. These spies would learn about the local politics, finding out which lords disliked each other and might not come to each other's aid. They would map out every river, mountain pass, and forest. They even studied the weather patterns and the best places to find grass for their horses to graze. This network of information was like Subotai's own personal version of the internet. A fantastic example of this is the Mongol invasion of Europe. Before the main army ever set foot there, Subotai orchestrated a massive reconnaissance mission, a great ride that swept through the lands of Russia and the Caucasus. This wasn't just a raid, it was a fact-finding mission that lasted for years. He tested the defenses of different kingdoms, fought their armies to learn their tactics, and mapped the entire region. It was like sending a scout ahead in a video game to reveal the entire map before you move your main character. Another pillar of Subotai's success was his masterful use of teamwork and the unwavering loyalty he commanded. The Mongol army was not just a collection of individual warriors, it was a single, unified entity. Imagine for a second a soccer team where every player tries to score a goal by themselves. They would probably lose to a team that passes the ball, communicates, and works together to create opportunities. The Mongol army was that second team, and Subotai was their expert coach. He drilled his soldiers relentlessly, not just in fighting, but in communication and coordination. The Mongols used a sophisticated system of flags, horns, and signal arrows to send complex commands across a noisy and chaotic battlefield. This was like their battlefield text messaging service. A commander could order a retreat, a flank attack, or a feigned withdrawal from miles away, and every soldier would understand and obey instantly. One of their most famous tactics, the feigned retreat, was a perfect example. They would pretend to run away, luring the enemy into a disorganized chase right into a perfectly set trap. This unity was built on a foundation of loyalty and a system that rewarded skill over anything else. In the Mongol army, it didn't matter if you were the son of a Khan or the son of a blacksmith. If you were skilled, brave, and loyal, you could rise to the highest ranks. This created an army where every soldier felt valued and knew they had a chance to advance based on their own abilities. They weren't just fighting for a distant king. They were fighting for their commanders, for their comrades, and for their own future. Subotai understood that the strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf. Perhaps the most brilliant aspect of Subotai's mind was his adaptability. He was like water, able to change his shape to fit any container and overcome any obstacle. He knew that the world was always changing, and that the tactics that worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. While many great armies of the time were rigid, relying on the same old strategies, Subotai was a constant student of warfare. He was not afraid to learn from his enemies. For example, when the Mongols first began their expansion, they were primarily warriors of the open plains, masters of cavalry and archery. But they soon came up against the great walled cities of China and Persia. Their traditional tactics were useless against massive stone fortifications. A less adaptable general might have given up or wasted his army in fruitless assaults, but not Subotai. He sought out captured Chinese engineers who were masters of siege warfare. He learned from them how to build catapults, trebuchets, and other siege engines. He then incorporated these new skills and technologies into his army, turning an enemy's strength into his own. This ability to learn and adapt made the Mongol army an ever-evolving threat. When they invaded the forested lands of Russia, their classic wide-open cavalry formations were not as effective. So Subotai adapted. He adjusted his tactics to fight in the woods, using smaller units and different strategies. When he faced the heavily armored knights of Europe, he didn't try to charge them head-on. Instead, he used his army's mobility to his advantage, peppering them with arrows from a distance, luring them into exhausting chases, and attacking their flanks. This principle of adaptability is a vital lesson for life. The world we live in is constantly changing with new technologies, new ideas, and new challenges. The people who succeed are the ones who are willing to learn new skills and adapt to new situations. The story of a Mongol general from 800 years ago might seem distant, but the lessons from Subotai's life echo powerfully in our world today. His strategies were not just for the battlefield, they are timeless principles for success in any field. Take his emphasis on planning and intelligence gathering. In the modern business world, this is called market research. A company doesn't launch a new product without first studying the competition, understanding customer needs, and analyzing the market. Think about his mastery of logistics and communication. Today, global companies like Amazon and FedEx face similar challenges. They have to move millions of packages all over the world, ensuring everything gets to the right place at the right time. His belief in adaptability and continuous learning is another crucial lesson. In any career, the skills that got you the job might not be enough to keep you successful 10 years from now. Doctors, engineers, teachers, and artists all have to keep learning to stay relevant in their fields. Subotai's willingness to learn from Chinese siege engineers is no different from a modern programmer learning a new coding language to tackle a new challenge. To stop learning is to risk becoming obsolete, a lesson that is more true today than ever before. Finally, his focus on teamwork and meritocracy is a model for any healthy organization. A team where everyone feels valued and knows that their hard work will be recognized is a team that will achieve great things. When people are promoted based on their talent and loyalty rather than their background, it inspires everyone to do their best work. This is the goal of any modern leadership team, to bring together different skills and perspectives to create a whole that is far greater than the sum of its parts. In the grand tapestry of history, some figures are woven with bright, bold threads. The kings, the queens, the emperors. Their names are remembered, their faces carved in stone. But history is also shaped by those who work in the shadows, the quiet architects who draw the plans and lay the foundations. Subotai was one of these unseen architects. He was the mind behind the muscle, the strategist who translated the grand ambition of Genghis Khan into a tangible, world-spanning empire. He was a man who cared little for personal glory and everything for the mission's success. We can find Subotais all around us if we look closely. They are the project managers who ensure a skyscraper is built safely, the software engineers who write the elegant code that makes our favorite apps work, or the coaches who develop the game-winning plays. So, the next time you hear a story of a great victory or a stunning success, take a moment to think about the unseen architects. Who gathered the information? Who made the plan? Who coordinated the team and adapted to unexpected challenges? In doing so, we not only honor the memory of a master strategist like Subotai, but we also learn to appreciate the quiet, essential work that makes all great achievements possible. And perhaps we can ask ourselves in our own lives how we can be a little more like him, a little more prepared, a little more adaptable, and a little more focused on the team's victory than our own spotlight.